it being black means I run faster than you, I jump higher than you. So the hurdle of the burden of proof is so much higher on that Asian kid on the basketball court, to the point where he would have to be extraordinarily good to finally convince you, like, no, I'm not like everybody else. I'm not like the Asian kid that you knew back in your neighborhood. I'm something different. And then eventually maybe people say, yeah, he's really good, for an Asian guy, right? Or something like that, right? So the same thing happens when black people go into spaces where we're not expected, right? When we go into spaces, like I come into the space and they say, are you a basketball player? No, I play basketball, but I'm not that. I'm okay. Are you a rapper? No, I can't rap too well. I tried. It was terrible. What do you do? Well, I'm a finance professor. It's like, what? like no, you're not. Like, no, you're a scammer. You're on the internet scamming people and talking about money. And no, I got a whole PhD. Well, where'd you go to school? I went to Ohio State University and I studied under Andrew Caroli from University of Chicago. He's at Cornell now. Oh, okay, well, you get tested. You get all these tests. I remember one time I got pulled over by a cop because the cop thought I was a drug dealer, and I didn't get offended. Because I grew up around cops. I know that there's bad ones and good ones. Cops don't scare me, right? And so the cop pulled me over, but it was late at night. Anything can happen. And so he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm here. I'm going to an interview." And he says, "Where?" I said, "Indiana State University." He said, "Interviewing for what?" I said, "To join the faculty." "What department?" "Finance." "Where'd you go to school?" "I went to Ohio State." "Where'd you get your bachelor's?" "University of Kentucky." "What'd you study in undergrad?" "Finance." "Where are you from?" "Louisville." "What field of finance do you specialize in?" "Asset pricing." "Well, what like he literally asked me like 25 questions, and I just answered them. Ooh, gave the answers. I didn't. Again, I don't get elevated. It's just like, okay, well, this is a lot of questions. And then finally he let me go, right? But I don't think I would have been asked all those questions if I was a white guy, right? Right? Because like, because it's like, wait, like Carl says, like he's a black man, he's probably moving weight, right? And so the hard part for black business owners is they have to not just go through the standard battles of starting and running a business, which is already hard enough, but then you've got to fight the headwind of racial discrimination that comes from everyone, not just white people. It comes from black people too. And then you're fighting against the fact that you're also undercapitalized. So you're running the 100-meter dash with one leg, and you got both arms tied behind your back. Right? So when a black business owner is able to survive all that and still be successful, that's pretty remarkable. That's actually quite impressive, because there's so many things that are there to just create these frictions and difficulties. Whereas if you are white and you're in an environment where, let's say, everyone expects you to be a millionaire entrepreneur, like, anybody know about this white woman named Elizabeth Holmes? How many of y'all know the name Elizabeth Holmes? Look up Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes was a blonde white woman who went to Stanford, and so Elizabeth started a company called Theranos. Anybody heard of Theranos? Well, Elizabeth Holmes was, I should find a picture of her because she was so creepy looking. She wanted to be like the female Steve Jobs. And so this weird ass looking lady would do all these interviews, and to talk about her company, and everybody just adored her. Like, they thought she was like the greatest, most brilliant person ever. And unfortunately, she was a complete fraud. She was a complete scammer. Let me show you her picture, and you can look at her picture. She just looks so creepy, like she got a mental illness or something.